The What's Neat This Week podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Additional support is provided by Oak Hill Model Railroad Track Supply. Check them out. Their website is ohrtracksupply.com. Thank you very much, Jeff Otto, for your support.
Why do I have what is this stuff here?
Questions?
Why do I have them?
I don't know.
Why do I have
Now
questions?
that's extra. Throw it away.
Okay.
Mike.
Yeah, I'll flip
Hold
on
that. These are the motorcycles.
Okay.
You can open that up.
Yeah.
I have got my
is the
slides
brochure?
here. This is good. I can't believe we're taking this.
Cameras are going.
Everything.
You know
I'm
that.
sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying. Okay.
All right.
So we're gonna clear this so you can run a train though.
You ready to start this? All right, whenever ready.
Hold on.
ready?
A minute. No, I'm not. But number 21, December 23rd, 2017. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, and in 3, 2.
This is the What's Neat This Week podcast, number 21 for December 23rd, 2017. Merry Christmas. Man, you know, I could have edited that in with the program, Dirk. My name is Ken Patterson, the host of the What's Neat show over at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine. And this evening I've got Daniel Coombs, Mike Budde,
Coombs.
Dirk Reynolds behind the camera, and I like that I said it slow because it gives me time to space out those words. And tonight, we've got a lot to talk about, and don't I always say that? But we happen to have our very first snowfall here in the Midwest last night. We got a good 3 inches of snow, and it was absolutely beautiful to witness the first snowfall because this is exactly the way it looked when I was in Colorado. And I was sitting out on that back porch up there in the mountains. It was just gorgeous. The next morning, it was just beautiful, winter wonderland, gray sky, and just perfect to set up for the photo shoot that I needed to do that day, which was going to be a Athearn photo shoot using that locomotive 1943.
The Spirit of Union Pacific.
That's it, Daniel. So I had to make it snow again today outside using plaster covering up the 8-foot-long seam that I had where I put some BTS structures on the diorama and some wire trees and just covered these all up with plaster, which essentially gave me, the basis for the shot. Then what I did was I put some pressure people in the shot. While I was taking the picture, I wanted to create a little bit more of an atmosphere with people throwing snow and playing. And oh, by the way, look at this neat train going by. So they're all looking at the train. And it turned out to be a pretty nice photograph. I just processed them just about 20 minutes ago and sent them to Chris. And so this is the basis for a real nice February diorama type photograph that we wanted to use using that gorgeous 1943, which, by the way, that locomotive, I studied some history on that. The silver on the front represents the Air Force silver, and then there's the Coast Guard stripes, and then after that, there's the battleship gray,
Navy.
I guess that's Navy, and then the Marines and Army, I guess is the camouflage. And Union Pacific, if you go to their website, they've got a very neat description of how the history of this locomotive came about from the original Union Pacific airplane, in fact, that got shot down. I want to talk about Oak Hill Model Railroad Track Supply. I wanted to call Jeff Otto on the phone tonight and discuss his track service of creating. What he said to me was, last time I talked to him 2 days ago, he said he's getting a lot of business for custom work, and he's really enjoying the results that he's getting from this podcast. Thank you, Jeff Otto. Check him out, ohrtracksupply.com. I know. Thank you very much, Daniel, on that. Mike, what are you doing over there? I see chemicals over there. What do you got going on?
Well, I promised
You want to hit the lights?
Yeah. I promised I would cast a couple cars this week, so we'll do that real fast. But first, I wanted to show you these new Tangent 4750 Pullman Standard hoppers.
Are those a new release, or were they already released earlier?
Well, this road name is a new release for. It might be a whole new product. I don't know, but the Illinois Terminal is out. That's getting a lot of popularity. The yellow with the red trucks and red bays and everything. But I'm a big Mopac fan, so.
Right.
Dave,
those are gorgeous cars.
Yes, they are.
I need to photograph those in sunlight.
Yeah, I'll leave them here so you could. I got 2 of them. But,
actually, those are gorgeous. Look at the Mopac paintwork and all the stuff on them.
And the ads delivered.
Chair's going to
David
fall over.
Lelbach really does his homework.
I know when we
things.
turn around, that microphone doesn't do a very good job picking us up.
Here we are talking over each other again, just like we said We wouldn't do it.
We're pretty good at that now.
That's right. All right. I want to show you this casting real quick. Basically, the principle is you mix your resin and you put it in a mold here. This is a 2-part mold. You put the mold in there with the resin and squish out the excess. Then we'll let it sit while we talk the rest of the show, and we'll see what it looks like at the end. So I'm going to do this real fast. Equal parts, A and B.
Resin Casting 101 with Mike Budde.
Yes, it is.
So you're going to mix A and B parts, same amount in
Right.
each glass, and mix it up.
Wow, that looks nice.
Right, her feet upstairs.
And anyway, this is the way I make all my cars for auto racks. You can make as many as you want. Once you get a master, as long as you're casting things for your own use, there's really nothing wrong with it. So anyway, here we go. Pour this in here, about halfway up the sides of the mold. Then I want to make sure there's no bubbles around the window frames, the fenders, around the corners of the bumpers and stuff. Alright, that looks pretty decent. Go ahead and put this in here.
Look at that. It just oozes out.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in the
Yeah, save some
excess
material.
in this mold because I think
That table you're using also came out of the trash.
well, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I found out in the neighbor's trash getting cigarettes at 2:30 in the morning one night. I was like, man, dude, I can do something with that. Put some wheels on it.
Yeah.
It's perfect, just the right height.
Yeah, people throw out good stuff all the time. I don't know why.
So you just put that in there and
Again, you work it out of all of the little areas where bubbles might collect. Now I'm just going to let this ooze out on the.
we'll let that
Table
set up, and that'll
yeah.
set up while we're halfway through the
right.
rest of the
So
presentation
let's go
here.
through the rest of the show now.
Now, I want to talk about Ripido.
Jason Schron.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Daniel. I love Jason at Ripido up there in Canada. Recently on his YouTube site, he just came out with a brand new video that shows a lot of behind the scenes of the manufacturing process that he's got. And I don't want to begin to say the Chinese names of the countries because I'll screw that up. But Jason says them very fluently. He's very well spoken. He shows us the factory where current production is being made. I want to show the link here on the YouTube site so you guys can find this. And then he shows us another surprise as this video opened up my eyes to, was that he's thinking about a new factory. And they've picked out another building, and he shows us the new building that they've got picked out where they need to move all the equipment to. So Jason, it sounds like he's got his hands full, but we really appreciate the stuff that he makes. Now, Daniel isn't going to be here tonight. Well, at least you weren't going to be, and then you walked in the door.
There he is.
Which is a wonderful
I just noticed
surprise.
you were
But I was going to say, just in case, since Daniel's not going to be here tonight, I'm just reading my notes as I have them written. Since Daniel's not going to be here tonight, Lionel Strang, in fact, you can get your dose of Daniel on his show,
Yes.
because I understand that on January 1st, they're coming out with that podcast he's got. It's called A Modeler's Life, where he's got, I think, a very good following. And they talk about you on the show, Daniel. I think
Wow.
they talk about you for 8 minutes, he said.
Awesome.
Joe Fugate and Lionel Strang were
Good
both.
old Lionel. How you doing,
Yep.
Lionel?
Yep, and I did Facebook friend request him, and I asked him. He said, "Oh yes," and he'd actually liked me to be on a audio podcast with him and Mr. Fugate one day. So
There you go.
do that.
Great.
That does sound nice. Now, Lionel is a super cool guy, and he
Yes.
did, in fact, say that he'd like to come to St. Louis sooner than later. He actually wants to do it. He's motivated to be on this podcast. He wants to sit
to
down
hear.
here and talk to us.
Right.
And in fact, I listened to his shows this week. I haven't really listened to his shows, and I listened to him this week on a stereo system down here while I was working, and I love the format. I love the ability to walk around the basement, do my job, and still listen to information about the hobby that's entertaining and educational. So I think that's probably going to be in the cards. I've said that before, but I'm sure in 2018 we're going to start the audio-only 2-hour podcast where we can cover all the questions. Plus, that'll give us another format to sell ad space on for sponsors. Yes, I said that because we're going to end the GoFundMe account. Actually, for all intentional purposes, it'll be ended this week. Simply because we're going to take the show now and let it start to fly on its own. The baby's out of the nest. We've got some numbers. We kind of have a good idea where this is going to go based on the What's Neat show and how that went up with regards to those numbers. So we're going to go for full sponsorships to support the show. We got Jeff Otto currently. Starting in 2018, we'll have Athearn as a sponsor and a couple other manufacturers sponsoring this show.
Can't wait.
For rates on that, you can contact me at kensart1@msn.com. Please don't send me a bunch of fan mail. Just shoot me specific stuff about advertising, if you would please. And with regards to my email, I haven't gotten back to folks in 3 weeks. I'm sorry about that. I've been just swamped. What I do is I go through my email and I cover the business stuff, and then I look at all the other stuff later. We're going to read one of the emails I got tonight from that. So I've got Ripido covered. Daniel's not here. That's covered. Debra Schiff at Bachman Industries has come out with a book called Murder to Scale. Dirk, get on that camera here. Now, I can't see this. I've got the wrong glasses on, Deborah. But I read this a little while ago. Tony Kester gives it a very good review. And what it is some guy goes to his train club, and one of the members are dead. And a certain locomotive is missing. So this guy knows it was another club member that did it. So as you go around his town and see all these different layouts and all the character and the cast and da-da-da-da-da, it's a really cool book. Debra Schiff works at Bachman. She was my boss for many years. Super smart, great writer. And this book only demonstrates that she's great at writing. So check it out. Now boarding, Murder to Scale, available on Amazon.com. So that's pretty cool, Daniel. Now, your rock mold thing, how's that doing over there? I mean, your casting.
Well,
Is
we'll
it
wait till
setting
the
up?
end of the show. Yeah.
That got me thinking about something here now, and that is, it's Christmas, and everybody gets a stocking. And when I was a kid, I actually asked for coal, and I wasn't joking, because I wanted to make rock molds, right?
Sure.
I wanted to cover them up and do that. So there was this one time, where's my Optivisor? I don't need it. There was this one time where I was trying to contemplate making rock molds out of large pieces of coal, and somebody contacted me and said that they had all this coal. And so what I've got here are photographs of the coal that I'm describing to you. It had two very large pieces, which is the key to making very good rock mold. And what we did was we broke it up and actually made and modeled a scenic bluff section. And put putty and clay on top of that, which created the entire finished scene. And where I'm going with this is I'm at a professional studio that actually makes Disney props and also makes shopping center props. So the guy's got an AB epoxy hot gun to fill these molds with. So we use their industrial strength mold material, and we didn't have to use gauze with this because this stuff was pretty strong. And we covered and painted the entire scene, the finished scene, with the rubber. And this is what it looked after it was set up and drying. And here I am peeling it off of the coal surface. The rubber's not tearing apart at all with no gauze. It's very strong stuff. And then here's Andy, the person that I met, friend of mine that was working down there, holding the rock mold in his hand. This is the part that we were then going to spray. Here's Andy in the spacesuit spraying the rock full of this material that makes these rock molds. And I use these slides that I just showed you I don't have the dates on them, but this has got to be before 2002. Here's the rock molds right here that we got out of it. This is the rock mold I used to shoot the 2002 Walthers cover. That's in the foreground, and it's really strong, and this has been outside for years.
Amazing.
And
Now,
it's
was
not
that part of the
damaged.
Allegheny shoot?
Yeah.
It was just a hunk of coal that was the Allegheny shot that we did 2002 Walthers.
Wait, let me-
And then Dirk, here's the
This.
finished.
Holy
Here's the whole
crap.
scene finished. You can see all the loose rubble and stuff we glued on here. But look at the detail. It's just amazing what you get from coal. So this Christmas, don't be shy about asking your parents or your friends for coal, because while they're laughing, we've got ulterior motives where we can use this to make
Trick is
great
finding a piece that big.
scenery material. I've had those slides for years. This was going to be a Mainline Modeler article that never got run. Those slides have never been seen, I don't think, by anybody. Okay, that's scratched off the list. Daniel, tell me what you got going on.
All right, Christmas time. Like I had said last podcast, I was going to set up 3 loops of O-gauge 3-year-old trains. I got an MTH with the Protosound 2 engine in the middle, and then I got 2 Lionel, Polar Express, and a Holiday Tradition.
It's
train
wonderful. Look at that going around the tree. I love that.
set. Yep.
And how many hours have you got in this job?
About an hour and a half setting up the track because it actually is a pretty massive one, and I was short 2 track sections, so I had to go back to my grandma's house where I got one of the sets from, come back, and then finish it off. But
That's
it turned out
awesome.
real great.
You're awesome. I love stuff like that. I haven't got We just got the tree set up last night. This is sad. MRH Magazine, Joe Fugate contacted me last night and talked to me and said that they're going to be changing the look of the magazine. I got 2 pairs of glasses on. They're changing the look of the magazine for January's first issue that's coming out. And for subscribers of the magazine, he's adding extra bonus material that you won't get for, well, it's still free, but you got to sign up and be a subscriber. To be a subscriber to the magazine, it's free, but it allows Joe to keep track of definitive numbers for the advertising, because Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine is free, but it makes money for its advertising, just like this podcast will do. Once it flies and takes off on its own, it will make money, I guarantee it. That was a pleasure story. How about a pain story? I dumped my U-50s on the floor last night.
Oh, no.
Right before the snow came. I didn't panic. I sat down and relaxed because I've been through this before in my life. It's no big deal. It's just now you have a kit. And
Back to the building.
an hour later, I had it all running. All the parts were laid out nice enough, but it was running good. I didn't put the screens back in or the lights back. Or most of the exterior parts were irrelevant. I just wanted to tweak it out and make sure those trucks and articulation worked. And it did. I haven't found an Athearn engine that I've messed up that I couldn't fix yet. And I'm going to pull a kill switch. Actually, I'm going to build a whole new lift out over there. I'm going to make something simpler and smaller. And Dirk, tell me about what do you got going on? Readers' questions?
Yes, we do. Let's tackle your email first from Gerald Mabry, and this is the gentleman over in Kuwait. In his email, he just basically said, "Can I send you a clip?"
Oh yeah, we
Can
would
we see
absolutely
what,
look
you know, what
forward
you're looking
to
for?
Sure, we like to look at it.
the material from Kuwait. I talked to him today. I want to Skype him, but he's in Kuwait. He's working over there as a contractor, and not really a lot of trains over there to go rail fanning and see. But he's found a friend that loves modeling, and they want to show their layout that they've got over there, and I think that would be absolutely fascinating.
Nice.
This currently, it's a 24 by 36 2-level layout with a helix.
Wow.
Oh gosh, so he's got some room.
Wow.
That's a layout.
That's a layout. He did mention he's finishing a BTS church at the moment. I'd love to see that. So
Yeah, me
if you
too.
could send a picture.
Well, he's
going to
send
to
video
us,
or something.
You know,
yeah.
put it
It's
in
the
Ken's
internet.
email and send it to us. I'd love to see that.
That sounds great.
So, but we want to say hi, and
Yeah.
we are acknowledging that you definitely sent that.
No matter where people live in the world, man, us modelers are all the same. You know, we
Right.
share the
Doesn't
same
One big
passion.
family.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's pretty
model railroading
amazing.
family.
Yeah. So.
I've got another. This is beginner to model training and model training. Get it? Training. Okay. This is Ryan Johnson, and he's just getting started. So he looks forward to the video podcast. He looks forward to the other What's Nate's he's been watching. Now he wants to get started. So what kind of advice? I guess let's start with Daniel, because he's pretty much a beginner. Because he's wondering, you know, should I do HO? What manufacturer should I buy
Yeah,
from?
was this the gentleman that sent me an email and said, what manufacturer product should I buy?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, didn't we just talk about that tonight
Yeah.
when we were in the green room?
Got
Yes.
started.
We said to each other that totally makes sense. If I was just getting into golf or
Hockey or whatever.
or
you
whatever,
wanna start out with the basics.
No, if I like whatever, any hobby you get into. Well, what brand's the best?
Yeah.
I think I remember doing that in RC cars when I first got in
Sure.
RC cars. It's like Kyocera or whatever the brand was. What was the best back then? I totally understand that question.
That's the number one thing, fellowship. If you find, you know, people you can discuss it with, and even on the internet, whatever, that's the main thing. Find friends that you can ask advice.
My thought
and-
was find a train
So,
club
right,
so you
there
can
you go.
experience it and then
Right,
talk to
right.
people and actually watch things run and establish your own idea of what you feel is the best.
Because also with the train club, you can see how things are built, and each of the guys have different strategies to, you know, install,
different areas of
Right.
expertise.
yes, and then like building the mountain scenes, and one guy's on bench work, and another
Right.
guy on the wiring statistics.
One guy
there's all
builds
those
the
areas that you
vehicles.
want to cover. Yeah, and
Yeah,
that too.
vehicle.
Rock that. So I would actually do a train club type of a thing. What is the best manufacturer? When I was a kid, it was like you bought Atlas or Kato in HO scale
Kato was
because
long-
it ran good. I think Kato's came around. What was
Right.
it? 90, what year was it? It was 87 or 86 or 87.
That
Ripido
really? I
came
thought
out
it
with their
came out later.
RS3, ran Silka Sweet before they were into
yeah.
N scale. Then
Right.
they came out that changed the world. Every
I was
manufacturer
amazed
took
that
a look.
first one of those I got. couldn't believe a train could run.
I
that
had one go
smooth
3
and
inches
quiet.
in
Yes.
30 minutes. It was amazing.
Wow.
So amazing. What else do we have going on here?
I'm going to yell out because Michael Richards sent Ken a message, says, thanks, Ken, for coming to the store. It was a blast working
Michael
with you.
at the Caboose out in Lakewood, Colorado, the guy in the safe deposit room. I love you. Thanks for the shout out. We love you back. Sounds like I might be coming out there next month again. This month, next month, 10 days, 20 days. I've got some motorcycles right here that were sent to me by a gentleman in England, a laser printing.
Yeah.
And it looks like he makes steam locomotives. I got a brochure from England. It's really neat when you get mail
And
in the
here's another
mailbox
one
from
for
overseas.
Laser, looks like laser cut kits and such.
OsborneModels.com. www.osborn. I'll put it on the bottom of the screen here.
And then here's just a
Models.com. And they print laser 3D printing. Check out the website. Thank you for the little motorcycles. These are an HO scale. These are cool.
Oh, wow,
these
actually do
Two
look
of them are
nice.
undecorated. One is completely painted all the way around.
Look at that.
And I promised him that I would mention this on the show.
Yeah, we just did.
My
didn't we?
home country, England. I was born in England. So thank you very much for sending this to us.
I want to drop his name.
Harrogate,
I
Yorkshire.
think it's Ethnanville Bro 420 asked about Mike and his casting. So that's why we're doing that tonight. So he can kind of see what's going on over there.
Daniel, talk to us about this layout right here.
Well, yeah, I didn't notice that.
Did you get it running?
Yep. Let's see.
And Daniel, I got the book here, Debra's book, and a bookmark. A bookmark from
There you
England
go.
for Debra's book.
All right, so for all you N-scales out there, you have been anticipating us to run a train around.
right.
Ta-da, here you go, before
I
Christmas.
know, you guys never do N-scale on the show. Ho, ho, ho. Here's an Intermountain SD40-2 that Frank Angstead sent us.
ESU and Loke
And there's
Sound.
some,
Athearn cars.
freight
These
cars.
are Athearn N-scales.
and there's an Athearn bus. And all this is this is a layout that's going to appear in the February show. I'm not going to tease you and show you any clips of it yet, but it's held together with magnets, and as you can see, it works. And in fact, it works so well that I held this thing up for one of the parts of the video for the What's Neat show, where you actually see me holding this up, and it's still held together with magnets and not coming apart. So it's a testament that this will work for N-scale. So,
And didn't you say you're going to make a future segment on extension, like building a full
well, yeah, it's going to be a
module?
four-part layout. These are the first two parts that I do for the show, and you put 8-footers in the middle, and I can shoot
Yeah.
outdoor N-scale videos on something like this.
Boy.
It's got tons of versatility, and the magnets are super strong. That works.
Yep.
I want to know, do we have more readers' questions? Because we're coming up to the end
Yeah,
here.
let me get this one.
How many more you got, real quick?
No, this is the last one. This is for Mike. He's asked this. This is Charlie. I hope I get this right. Masano, I think.
Okay.
Maybe Mysino or something.
But
But he wants to know something. It's a very long one, but I think what he's asking is he wants to build an auto plant. And so since you do the cars and you do the auto racks and all that, he needs some help on figuring out how to get car manufactured all the way to getting it on the auto rack. What am I supposed to build, and what is this exactly? And I think you mentioned a book.
yeah. Well, a good book for that is the Walters book, America's Driving Force.
Amen.
That's got a lot of information about the auto industry and, the different parts suppliers and how they work in relationship with the factories and the railroads, the assembly plants and everything. But basically, it's always been pretty much, since the 60s anyway, it's been boxcars and frames, shipped in full of parts for the cars and, glass, everything. And then they've loaded auto racks going out. And then empty auto racks coming in, and
It's a great book.
yeah. So, but
I got some
I would
pictures in that
recommend
book,
that book, America's Driving Force. I think it's
I did the cover of that book. That's a diorama that we use outside with the
Yeah.
road when you ran your auto racks.
I had
That
some
was
auto
that road
racks in
scene.
that book
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Yes, you did. You were in there too. We were both in there.
Yeah, right.
That was a cool book.
Imagine that, and we're
That's
plugging it
awesome.
on this show.
All right, it's Christmas,
So
guys.
anyway.
We do definitely want to wish everybody happy holidays.
And a wonderful new year.
And to end this segment of this video, because we're coming up on the end of the
what
show
are these
here,
slides of?
I've got a photograph that I did for Walthers way back when, and it was a combination of work between me and John Heitzman at American Model Builders. And it's a snow scene that I did for them. And the kit was going to be called Grandma Patterson's House, and John Heitzman designed the kit. You can see from the computers how long ago this was. These shots were shot in 1997, and here's John in front of his laser cutting out and actually showing the kit coming out of the laser. We kind of had a little fun with this, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. But at the time, the lasers were all new technology. Now, of course, John makes commercial buildings. Here's some of the beautiful skyscrapers that he's made that I use for background props from time to time. But back to this Christmas photograph. This was a shot where I wanted it to have atmosphere. It's the first time I ever used wire trees in a shot, and it was also the first time that I actually really set up the camera and structured a photograph where the camera was set up in a position. And this is back in the days when we were shooting slides, so you had to get it right the first time. No Photoshop. So I'm doing Photoshop. I'm holding smoke that's on a wire, a cotton wire, and I'm wiggling it back and forth. And the whole scene worked out really well. I shot it indoors first, so here's the indoor photograph that I did with a painted background sky. And then I also shot the same scene outside. But the outside photograph was the real winner, because what I did was to obstruct the background, the way backgrounds always are in the wintertime, was I took a piece of construction paper and cut it jig-jagged and painted it black and stuck it in plain sight in the background, knowing quite well that it would subliminally blend out and you wouldn't notice it until I just told you about it. But this is a cool shot where the folks are dragging the Christmas tree up on the front porch. It was that Christmas card that I was really trying to, back in, what year was this, Daniels? I don't even have dates on these, do I? These were all
97.
All about that time.
They're right over here.
So that's the segment that I wanted to share with you since it's Christmas, and that's
and
a
who
Christmas
is that
shot.
guy?
So yeah, it's all good. I think we're at the end right here. Check out your castings and see what happened here.
I think they're still a little soft. I should have let them go a little bit longer, but this is what it's like when you pull them out.
There you go.
That's the car?
Right, yeah.
Show
right
me.
there.
Will that come out?
Yes, you take the inside out. The car is still a little soft, so it's going to warp.
So how long would you normally let that set up for?
Probably about a half hour.
Dude, that's cool. Check this out.
So that in turn for 20 minutes is now your car.
Right.
Oh, this is cool. Check this out.
Here's the station wagon.
Here, let me...
Check this out. Feel it.
Yeah, this one's still really,
wow.
really rubbery. But we did a couple before the show.
Good job, Mike.
Here they are right here.
Now, what model would this be?
These are 1970
Hey, turn the lights on,
Chevrolets.
Mike. Are the lights on? I guess they are. It just seems dark right there. All right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's in the shadow, but...
That's all right.
Yeah.
Here's the other one.
So I'm making these
I can
for
see it.
Athearn Auto Rack. It's not my era. My era is 1979, but...
They still look pretty good.
Yeah, I couldn't resist the chance to make a 1970 era auto rack. So anyway...
I think I hear Christmas bells.
Yes.
And it's not you over there. I can... So here we go. We're ending podcast number 21, December 23rd, 2017. I'm Ken Patterson, and tonight, Dirk, Mike,
Daniel.
and myself,
There you go.
Ken Patterson, wish all of you the very happiest of holidays. And I don't know if we're recording next week. We're actually not supposed to, but we got some special guests coming in, so we might make a show anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And so
Plus, we can show off some Christmas stuff, whatever I get.
Right.
and-
with that, guys, let's run some trains, and
All
let's
right.
do a run-by tonight for to end the show.
Sounds
Okay.
good. All right, take care, guys.
All right, see you
Thank
next
you.
year.
Thank you.